Before the world speaks to you each morning, there is a small moment of silence. A fragile moment. The sun has not fully risen yet. The streets are quieter. The noise of responsibilities has not completely entered your mind. And within that moment, before touching your phone, before reading messages, before carrying the weight of the day, there is a question the Stoics believed every human being should ask. Who will I choose to become today? Most people wake up and immediately surrender themselves to chaos. Their minds rush into anxiety before their feet even touch the floor. They think about unfinished work, money problems, deadlines, arguments, notifications, the opinions of others. Without realizing it, the day begins with reaction instead of awareness. And that is how many people lose control over their lives. Not in one dramatic moment, but slowly, morning after morning. The Stoic philosophers understood something deeply important. The way you begin your morning shapes the direction of your mind, and the direction of your mind shapes the quality of your life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who carried the burden of an entire empire, often reminded himself of this before facing the world each day. Imagine him waking before sunrise, not in luxury, not in comfort, but carrying responsibility, pressure, war, betrayal, and uncertainty. And still, before entering the chaos of leadership, he prepared his mind. Because the Stoics knew that life does not become easier simply because you wish it to. People will still disappoint you. Difficulties will still appear. Unexpected problems will still arrive without warning. So the goal was never to control the world. The goal was to prepare oneself. This is why every Stoic morning begins with stillness. Before speaking to the world, sit quietly for a moment. Not to escape life, but to remember yourself. Modern life teaches people to wake up distracted, but Stoicism teaches the opposite. Wake up aware. Notice your breathing. Notice the silence around you. Notice that you have been given another day that was never guaranteed. Most people live as though tomorrow automatically belongs to them. The Stoics never believed that. They understood the fragile nature of existence. Every morning, they reminded themselves, you woke up today. That alone is a gift. And strangely, this awareness creates strength. Because when you stop assuming life owes you endless time, you begin treating each day differently. You stop wasting energy on meaningless anger. You stop postponing your happiness. You stop allowing small inconveniences to steal your peace. The Stoics believed mornings should begin with gratitude, not complaint. Even before success, even before comfort. Because gratitude stabilizes the mind. A grateful mind becomes harder to disturb. Then comes the second practice. Preparation for difficulty. This may sound unusual. Most people begin their mornings hoping nothing goes wrong. The Stoics prepared themselves, knowing something probably would. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Today, I will meet people who are arrogant, selfish, impatient, and difficult." Not because he was negative, but because he was realistic. And realism protects peace better than fantasy. Think about how much suffering comes from expectation. You expect everyone to understand you. You expect life to be fair. You expect people to act kindly all the time. And when reality breaks those expectations, frustration appears. But the Stoics approached the day differently. Before entering the world, they reminded themselves, challenges will come today. Someone may insult you. Someone may misunderstand your intentions. Plans may fail. Delays may happen. But because you expected difficulty, you are no longer shocked by it. And when hardship no longer surprises you, it loses much of its power over your emotions. This is one of the deepest forms of Stoic strength. Not avoiding storms, but preparing your mind before the storm arrives. Then comes another important question the Stoics asked every morning. What is truly within my control today? Not the weather, not the economy, not other people's opinions. Only your thoughts, your actions, your choices, your attitude. This realization changes everything. Because most people exhaust themselves trying to manage things they cannot control. They try to control outcomes, control people, control the future. And the more they chase control over external things, the more anxious they become. The Stoics believed freedom begins when you stop fighting reality. Instead of controlling the world, master yourself. Control your anger. Control your reactions. Control your impulses. That is where real power lies. And perhaps this is why Stoic mornings were never rushed. They understood that a rushed mind becomes vulnerable. When you immediately fill your mind with noise, comparison, fear, and distraction, you weaken your inner clarity. That is why silence in the morning is sacred. Even a few minutes of stillness can transform the direction of your day. Sit quietly, reflect deeply, observe your thoughts without immediately obeying them, because not every thought deserves your trust. The Stoics often reflected on death during the morning as well, not in a dark or hopeless way, but in a way that awakened appreciation for life. They understood something modern people often forget. You are not guaranteed another sunrise. And once you truly understand this, life becomes more vivid. The taste of water becomes meaningful. The sound of birds becomes meaningful. A conversation with someone you love becomes meaningful. Mortality teaches presence. The Stoics did not fear death because they constantly remembered life. And this awareness helped them live with urgency, humility, and peace. Another important morning practice was discipline. The Stoics believed that comfort, when constantly obeyed, weakens character. That is why Marcus Aurelius sometimes struggled to leave his bed, but reminded himself, "You were not born to remain comfortable. You were born to fulfill your duty as a human being." This is powerful, because modern culture worships comfort, but Stoicism worships growth. The Stoics understood that discipline creates freedom. When you wake up early despite laziness, when you train your mind despite distractions, when you fulfill responsibilities despite emotions, you become stronger than your impulses. And slowly, your mind becomes calmer because it trusts itself. That is what discipline truly builds. Self-respect. A person who keeps promises to themselves walks differently through life. Then finally, before stepping into the world, the Stoics reminded themselves of one last truth. No matter what happens today, I will respond with wisdom. Not with rage, not with panic, not with bitterness, but with awareness. This does not mean Stoics never felt emotion. They felt deeply, but they refused to become servants to every emotion that appeared. Because emotions are temporary visitors, wisdom remains. So before beginning your activities tomorrow morning, pause for a moment. Do not immediately surrender your mind to the world. Sit quietly. Breathe deeply. Remember what truly matters. Be grateful for another day. Prepare your mind for challenges. Focus only on what you can control. Accept that life is uncertain. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose wisdom over reaction. And slowly, something begins to change within you. The world may remain chaotic, but you no longer carry chaos inside yourself. That is the quiet power of Stoicism. A calm mind in a noisy world. A steady soul in uncertain times. And perhaps the greatest victory in life is not conquering the world, but conquering yourself before the day even begins. But the Stoics believed the morning was only the beginning, because preparing your mind at sunrise means little if you lose yourself again before the day ends. That is why, when night arrived and the world finally became quiet once more, Stoic philosophers practiced another powerful ritual. Not for success, not for productivity, but for self-mastery. While most people collapsed into distraction at the end of the day, the Stoics paused to examine themselves honestly. They asked, "What did I do well today? Where did emotion control me? What can I improve tomorrow?" This quiet reflection became one of the greatest tools for inner peace. Because a person who reflects daily slowly becomes aware of their own patterns. And awareness is the beginning of wisdom. As the night grows quieter and the world slowly begins to rest, most people carry their unfinished thoughts into the darkness. Their bodies lie down, but their minds continue running. They replay conversations from earlier in the day. They worry about tomorrow's responsibilities. They fear problems that have not even happened yet. And without realizing it, they fall asleep carrying chaos inside them. The Stoics believed this was dangerous, because the final thoughts you feed your mind at night often become the emotional atmosphere you wake up with in the morning. That is why Stoic philosophy teaches something powerful. Before sleeping, prepare your mind for tomorrow, not with fear, not with anxiety, but with awareness. Imagine an old Roman philosopher sitting alone beside a candle late at night. The city outside has become silent. The noise of the marketplace has disappeared. The demands of the world no longer reach him. And instead of distracting himself, he chooses to reflect. This was one of the most important Stoic practices. Not escaping the day, but understanding it. The Stoics believed that every night was an opportunity to examine the soul. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, practiced this constantly. Before sleeping, he would quietly ask himself, "What weakness did I overcome today? What mistake did I make? Where did I allow emotion to control me? What can I do better tomorrow?" Notice something important. He did not judge himself with hatred. He observed himself with honesty. This is the difference between reflection and self-punishment. Most people are harsh toward themselves. They either avoid their mistakes completely or drown in guilt because of them. The Stoics chose a wiser path. They believed mistakes are teachers. Every moment of anger reveals something. Every moment of fear reveals something. Every emotional reaction becomes a mirror showing us where we still need growth. And this is why nighttime reflection is so powerful. Because a person who reflects daily slowly becomes conscious of their own patterns. And once you become aware of your patterns, you stop living unconsciously. You begin changing intentionally. Preparing the mind for tomorrow begins by making peace with today. Do not carry unnecessary bitterness into sleep. Do not rehearse arguments repeatedly inside your mind. Do not poison your rest with resentment. The Stoics understood something modern people often forget. A tired mind becomes emotionally weak. When the mind is exhausted, small problems feel enormous. Minor inconveniences become unbearable. Patience disappears. This is why inner calm must be protected before sleep. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves belief. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do at night is simply release what you cannot control. The unfinished task, the uncertain future, the opinion of another person. Leave it outside your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that life moves according to nature. Some things will unfold as planned, others will not. But worrying endlessly changes nothing. And so, instead of fearing tomorrow, the Stoics prepared themselves mentally for it. Before sleep, they reminded themselves, "Tomorrow may bring difficulty. Tomorrow may test my patience. Tomorrow may challenge my character." But then came the most important part. They also reminded themselves, "And I am capable of facing it." This quiet confidence is the heart of Stoicism. Not pretending life will always be easy, but trusting yourself enough to meet life with courage. The Stoics believed fear becomes smaller when the mind is prepared. Most anxiety comes from feeling mentally unready, but preparation creates stability. Imagine two sailors before a storm. One ignores the warning signs completely. The other calmly prepares the ship before the waves arrive. When the storm finally appears, only one of them remains steady. This is exactly what Stoic reflection does for the mind. It strengthens your inner foundation before difficulty arrives. And perhaps one of the most beautiful Stoic practices before sleep was gratitude. Not gratitude because life was perfect, but gratitude that life existed at all. The Stoics knew that nothing was guaranteed. Not another year, not another conversation, not even another sunrise. And strangely, remembering this made them appreciate life more deeply. Before sleeping, they reflected on simple blessings. The breath is still moving through their lungs. The people they love. The lessons learned through hardship. The quiet peace of another evening survived. Gratitude softens the mind. It protects the soul from becoming consumed by endless desire and dissatisfaction. Because no matter how difficult life becomes, there is almost always something remaining to appreciate. A calm night creates a calmer morning. And this is why Stoicism teaches us not to end the day with noise. Not endless scrolling, not comparison, not emotional chaos, but reflection, stillness, awareness. Sit quietly for a few moments before sleep. Ask yourself honestly, did I live according to my values today? Did I allow anger to control me? Did I act with wisdom? What kind of person do I want to become tomorrow? These small nightly reflections slowly transform the soul. Not instantly, but gradually, like water shaping stone over many years. Preparing the mind for tomorrow is not about controlling the future. The Stoics knew the future would always remain uncertain. Instead, it is about strengthening the person who will face that future. And when you strengthen your inner world, external chaos loses much of its power over you. So tonight, before closing your eyes, pause for a moment. Let the world become quiet. Release what you cannot carry forever. Forgive yourself for being imperfect. Learn from the day without condemning yourself. Prepare your heart calmly for whatever tomorrow may bring. And remember, the goal of Stoicism was never to become emotionless. It was to become steady, to sleep peacefully even in uncertain times, to wake with clarity even in a chaotic world, to meet tomorrow not with fear, but with wisdom, discipline, and inner calm.